Good evening and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha with the day's biggest news stories from across India and the world. Before we begin the bulletin, Rajya Sabha TV appeals to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash hands and face regularly, and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember, these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic. And now, let's get you the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to take stock of COVID vaccine development at Ahmedabad's Zydus Cadila Park, Hyderabad's Bharat Biotech and Pune's Serum Institute of India tomorrow. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu calls for mass movement to promote digital literacy, underscores need for education to keep pace with fast-changing technology. Better than expected GDP figures for July-September quarter firms up hopes for speedy economic recovery. Manufacturing and construction sectors register positive growth. Centre invites protesting farmers for talks on 3rd December. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar says discussions, not agitations, can bring about a solution. And preparations complete for the first phase of the District Development Council elections in Jammu and Kashmir. Voting tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. for 43 seats. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit 3 cities on Saturday to review the COVID-19 vaccine development and manufacturing process. The Prime Minister's visit is aimed at reviewing the status of potential COVID-19 vaccines and also take stock of preparations, production and distribution mechanism. The Prime Minister will take stock of the vaccine development at Zydus Biotech Park in Ahmedabad, Bharat Biotech in Hyderabad and Serum Institute of India in Pune. All 3 vaccine candidates are in advanced stage trials. Bharat Biotech's Covaxin is undergoing phase 3 trials. Covaxin is being developed by Bharat Biotech in collaboration with the Indian Council of Medical Research. Zydus Cadila is conducting phase 2 clinical trials of its potential vaccine since August. Meanwhile, COVID-19 vaccine developed by AstraZeneca and Oxford University is undergoing phase 3 clinical trials in India. Serum Institute of India is conducting clinical trials of the vaccine in the country. On Thursday, the Serum Institute announced that the potential vaccine candidate is safe and effective and that the Indian trials are progressing smoothly with strict adherence to all protocols. The comments came after AstraZeneca and Oxford University acknowledged a manufacturing error that is raising concerns about preliminary results of their experimental COVID-19 vaccine. AstraZeneca is likely to conduct an additional global trial to assess the efficacy of its COVID-19 vaccine. A look now at the COVID-19 situation in the country. India reported 43,082 new confirmed COVID cases in the last 24 hours, taking the total confirmed cases to 93.09 lakh. Total active cases stand at 4.55 lakh today. The present contribution of active case load to India's total positive cases is 4.89%. While recoveries have crossed 87 lakh 18,000, with 492 new deaths, the total death toll in the country has now crossed 1,35,715. India tested 11,31,000 samples on Thursday. So far, the country has tested 13 crore 70 lakh samples of COVID-19. Among the states, Maharashtra reported the highest increase with over 6,400 new cases of COVID-19. Delhi reported over 5,400 new cases, while Kerala registered another 5,378 new cases in the last 24 hours. Delhi, with 91 deaths, reported the maximum new fatalities. Maharashtra saw a death count of 65, followed by West Bengal with 52 deaths due to COVID-19. ICMR's second National Sero Survey has revealed that an estimated 74.3 million people, or over 7 crore people, were infected by novel coronavirus by the month of August. The sero prevalence was reported to be highest in urban slum areas at 16%, 8% urban non-slum dwellers, and 4% rural population got infected with COVID-19. The second survey was conducted during August and September. 29,082 individuals aged 10 years and above were covered in the same 700 villages of 70 districts in India selected during the first sero survey. ICMR's first countrywide sero survey was conducted between May-June that showed overall infection prevalence to be 0.73%. In some other news, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called for a mass movement to promote digital literacy in the country. At the virtual launch of the Adi Shankara Digital Academy, he urged all technological and educational institutions to play a leading role in that endeavor. Enumerating several benefits of online education, the Vice President said, technology provides an opportunity to transform learning and express the need to constantly update and develop education models that suit the new era's demands in view of the fast-changing technology. Calling for bridging the digital divide that exists between rural and urban areas, the Vice President said conscious policy decisions to support online education infrastructure by ensuring internet connectivity is the need of the hour.
I'm happy that the Government of India is already implementing several initiatives to address this. Online courses can help bridge the difference and enable students even in the remotest parts of the country to have access to quality education at an affordable cost. Thus, virtual classroom will available and enable everyone once there is an internet connection. Secondly, online classes will immensely help those not able to attend classes in person, such as working professionals and housewives. I am sure that the courses started by Sri Adi Shankara Digital Academy will be very helpful for such groups in enhancing their skill sets and increasing their employability. In view of the fast-changing technology, we need to constantly update and develop education models that suit the new era's demands. This again draws our attention to the wide digital divide that exists between rural and urban areas. Not only are these gaps in the digital infrastructure of rural India, digital literacy is also low, especially among the parents. Therefore, conscious policy decisions are required to support online education by state and central government, and also provide infrastructure by ensuring internet connectivity.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Friday. In a telephonic conversation, the two leaders discussed the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic and the cooperation between India and the UK in vaccine development and manufacturing. The two leaders reiterated their shared desire to impart a quantum jump to the India-UK partnership in the post-COVID, post-Brexit era. They agreed on the tremendous potential for both countries in enhancing collaboration in trade and investment, scientific research, mobility of professionals and students, and also defense and security. Both countries agreed on joining hands in the fight against climate change and also appreciated their collaboration under platforms like the International Solar Alliance and the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar has invited protesting farmers for talks on the 3rd of December. The minister said that the government is ready to talk about issues and also resolve differences with the farmers who are protesting against the 3 farm laws that were recently passed by Parliament. The minister expressed hope that the dialogue will have a positive result. He also said that the new farm laws were the need of the hour, and in the coming times, they are going to bring about revolutionary changes.
किसान भाइयों और बहनों को आग्रह करना चाहता हूं, भारत सरकार खुले मन से उनसे चर्चा के लिए तैयार है। मेरी विनम्र अपील है कि वो आंदोलन का रास्ता छोड़कर चर्चा के लिए आएं।
Meanwhile, the protesting farmers from Punjab, Haryana, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh were allowed to enter Delhi on Friday through the Tikri border. They have been granted permission to protest peacefully at the Nirankari Samagam ground in the Burari area. The BJP has nominated former Bihar Deputy Chief Minister Sushil Kumar Modi as its candidate for the Rajya Sabha by-poll in the state. The Rajya Sabha seat fell vacant after the demise of former Union Minister and founder of the Lok Janshakti Party, Ramvilas Paswan, on the 8th of October. The Election Commission has fixed 14 December for the by-poll and also for the counting of votes. The term of the upper house seat that Ramvilas Paswan occupied until his death is till the 2nd of April 2024. And some good news on the economic front. India's economy has recovered faster than expected in the September quarter. A spurt in manufacturing helped to limit the contraction of the GDP to 7.5%, while also encouraging hopes of a further improvement on better consumer demand. Here's a detailed report. GDP, or gross domestic product, that had contracted by a record 23.9% in the first quarter of the 2020-21 fiscal, has shown a sharp recovery, indicating that the economy could see a turnaround before the end of the fiscal year. Figures show a GDP contraction of 7.5% in July to September, that compares with a growth of 4.4% in the same quarter last year. Manufacturing for the period of July to September showed a surprise growth of 0.6% after it shrunk by an unprecedented 39% in the preceding quarter. The agriculture sector continued its good showing, growing 3.4%, while the trade and services sector showed a lower than expected contraction at 15.6%. Public spending was down 12%. The contraction in July to September quarter has now pushed India into its first technical recession since 1996. The coronavirus lockdown had depressed economic activity for the financial year April 2020 to March 2021. But ever since the gradual opening up since June, the economy has picked up. On Thursday, Reserve Bank of India Governor Shaktikant Das said the recovery from the lockdown has been stronger than expected and the economy could show growth in the fourth quarter. The news of the improvement in the economy comes ahead of the RBI meet next week, when it will announce its decision on interest rates. It also coincides with a drop in India's daily virus cases that have tapered off to half of its peak of more than 97,000 infections a day in mid-September. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. The merger of Lakshmi Vilas Bank with DBS Bank India came into force from Friday. With this, the moratorium on the Lakshmi Vilas Bank was also removed. The RBI had earlier imposed a 1-month moratorium on the private lender and capped deposit withdrawals at 25,000 rupees. All branches of the Lakshmi Vilas Bank will now function as branches of the DBS Bank India Limited. The merger was cleared by the Union Cabinet and the Reserve Bank of India earlier this week. Time for a short break here. More news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
Five million subscribers. 1 million subscribers in less than 10 months. over 17 million hours of content watched online. RSTV, one of the fastest growing YouTube channel. 5 million subscribers, the count is on.
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. The stage is set for the Jammu and Kashmir District Development Council polls. Voting for the first phase will be held on Saturday for 18 seats in Jammu Division and 25 in the Kashmir Division. 296 candidates are in the fray in the first phase, including 172 in Kashmir and 124 in Jammu. Voting will take place between 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. in strict adherence to COVID-19 guidelines. The election to 20 district development councils will be held in 8 phases between 28 November and 19 December. Counting of votes will take place on the 22nd of December. This will be the first major electoral exercise in the Union Territory after Article 370 was abrogated last year. By-polls to vacant panchayat and municipal seats will also be held simultaneously.
बीस जिलों के लिए डिस्ट्रिक्ट डेवलपमेंट काउंसिल चुनी जाएंगी और इन जिलों में जहां जहां पंचायत के सरपंच की वैकेंसीज हैं और पंच कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसीज की वैकेंसीज हैं उनके लिए पंच चुने जाएंगे। ये सारी इलेक्शन 8 फेजेस में हो रही है। हमारे अपने इंटरनल रिव्यू कंप्लीट हैं कश्मीर प्रोविंस के लिए, जम्मू प्रोविंस के लिए। इलेक्शन मटेरियल, पोलिंग पार्टीज, सिक्योरिटी अरेंजमेंट्स ये सब भी कर दिए गए हैं।
Meanwhile, the BJP on Thursday released its election manifesto for the Jammu and Kashmir District Development Council polls. In the manifesto, the party has promised to provide 70,000 jobs with 100% reservation to the locals. The BJP has also promised to ensure private sector employment, industry-friendly policy, and also a clean, transparent, and accountable administration in Jammu and Kashmir. Besides, the party has promised retrieval of land from encroachers and zero tolerance towards violence and terrorism. It has also promised regularization of daily wages, casual and contractual workers. On the diplomatic front, Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla concluded his 2-day visit to Nepal on Friday. During the visit, he met Nepalese President Bidya Devi Bhandari, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and Foreign Minister Pradeep Kumar Gyavali. He also held talks with his counterpart Bharat Raj Pordyal. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastav said that the Foreign Secretary's discussions with Prime Minister Oli included a candid review of the state of bilateral relationship and the potential for bringing India and Nepal even closer. He said that Prime Minister Oli conveyed Nepal's desire to build on the momentum in the bilateral relationship and also enhance the level of bilateral engagement. The Foreign Secretary also addressed Nepalese think tank and assured the Nepalese government of all support in post-COVID reconstruction and also with the COVID-19 vaccine once it is available in India. Besides, he also handed over 2,000 vials of remdesivir to Nepal for COVID-19 treatment. And he added that the Indian market is available to Nepal's companies, startups and the talent pool. In the last leg of his 6-day visit to 3 countries, including Bahrain and UAE, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar arrived in Seychelles on Friday. He met newly elected President of Seychelles, Wavel Ramkalawan, in Victoria and discussed ways to strengthen bilateral cooperation. In the meeting, the External Affairs Minister conveyed Prime Minister Narendra Modi's greetings and handed over a personal message from him. The 2 leaders then discussed close security cooperation, strong development partnership, and long-standing people-to-people contact between the 2 countries. The External Affairs Minister said that Seychelles has a particular priority for India, both under the Neighbourhood First policy and also the Sagar outlook. With a view to enhance proximity between India and Sri Lanka in the post-COVID period, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval is in Colombo. On Friday, he met Sri Lankan Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse and conveyed Prime Minister Narendra Modi's greetings to him and recalled the successful bilateral virtual summit between the two leaders to progress on mutual cooperation. The National Security Advisor is in Colombo at the invitation of Sri Lanka's Defence Secretary Kamal Gunaratne. Ajit Doval also met with the country's Defence Secretary and discussed matters pertaining to the growing defence and security partnership between both countries. The two countries agreed on steps to further strengthen the bilateral cooperation, which contributes to peace and security in the region. During the visit, Ajay Doval will participate in the 4th NSA-level meeting on trilateral maritime security cooperation among India, Sri Lanka and the Maldives. Earlier, such meetings were held in 2011 in Maldives, in 2013 in Sri Lanka and in 2014 in India. The NSA-level trilateral meeting has served as an effective platform for cooperation among the Indian Ocean countries. Mauritius and Seychelles had also attended the 3rd meeting as guest countries. The meeting will provide an opportunity for discussion on issues pertaining to cooperation in maritime security in the Indian Ocean region. And back home, the Bombay High Court on Friday granted relief to actress Kangana Ranaut in her petition challenging the demolition by the BMC on her property in Bandra last September. The court quashed the demolition notice and said Kangana Ranaut may take steps to make her property habitable and also to regularize the same. It directed the appointment of a valuer to determine the compensation payable to Ranaut for the demolition of her property. Calling the civic body's action a malice in law, the court said there was no unauthorized construction as alleged by the BMC on Kangana Ranaut's property. Trinamool Congress MLA Mihir Goswami on Friday quit West Bengal's ruling party and joined the Bharatiya Janata Party, saying he looked forward to a new political era in the poll-bound state in line with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision. He joined the party at its headquarters in New Delhi in the presence of BJP General Secretary Kailash Vijayvargiya. And earlier in the day, senior TMC leader Suvendu Adhikar also resigned as the state's transport minister. The Supreme Court on Friday said the interim bail to journalist Arnab Goswami and 2 others in an abetment to suicide case will continue till the Bombay High Court disposes of their petition. It further said that the judiciary should ensure that criminal law does not become a weapon for selective harassment. The Apex Court had granted interim bail to Goswami on the 11th of November, saying it will be travesty of justice if personal liberty is curtailed. A bench headed by Justice D.Y. Chandrachud on Friday said Arnab Goswami's interim bail shall be operative for 4 more weeks from the day the High Court decides his pending plea in the 2018 abetment to suicide case. The bench also said the Supreme Court, High Courts and lower courts must be alive to the misuse of criminal law by the state machinery. They should ensure criminal law does not become a weapon for selective harassment of citizens, it said. Also referring to the facts of the case, the bench said that prima facie there is disconnect between FIR and ingredients of offence of abetment to suicide. The 10th National Science Film Festival, organized jointly by the Vigyan Prasar and the Tripura State Council of Science and Technology, concluded on Friday. A total of 115 shortlisted films selected by the 10-member jury were screened during the festival. 25 awards were announced for films in various categories. Other than 4 main categories of the film festival, 2 new categories were introduced this year. The event creates a platform for filmmakers, scientists and enthusiasts to interact through masterclasses, workshops, panel discussions, etc. The National Science Film Festival helps to create a better public understanding of science and technology.
Promoting documentaries, especially on themes concerning science, is really challenging in a country like India. where the literacy rate is still low, and people are entangled with superstitions and religious beliefs. I thank and appreciate the efforts of Vigyan Prasar, who have taken a long leap in promoting science films over the last 10 years.
Parliamentarians paid floral tributes to the first Lok Sabha Speaker G.V. Mavalankar on his birth anniversary in the Central Hall of Parliament House. Ganesh Vasudev Mavalankar, born in Vadodara, was popularly known as Dada Saheb. He was an independence activist, the President of the Central Legislative Assembly, and also the Speaker of the Constituent Assembly before becoming the first Speaker of Lok Sabha. And that's it from us in this bulletin. But before we leave, we once again appeal to all our viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash hands and face regularly, and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember, these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic. Good night, and thank you very much for your time.